Welcome to our second update on Backyard Abundance related to our time check-ins. It's day 20-ish. Day 20-ish means update number 2. Take a look at where things are at. There's a lot of good going on. The beets are getting some serious size leaves here in the foreground. The tomatoes are sizing up, and one of the good things to do at this point is get the leaves of the tomatoes to get on the highest wire possible of the cage so that as they start to set fruit, they'll have something to help bear the weight. I've just taken these little shade paddles that we did at day 10, which were shielding the lettuce from direct sun when they were struggling. And now you can see the lettuce is doing well. It's looking good. We're going to be able to harvest really soon. And we did realize, as noted previous, that there was some wireworm in here, which was part of the reason why these weren't surviving. It wasn't really about the heat, I think. The peppers are looking pretty good and have some flowers setting fruit. The radishes that I planted here, it was really old seed that I'd gotten from a friend. I think it was 5 years old. Did not germinate. There's only 1 or 2 radishes coming up. Well, what I did is just replaced with some marigolds that look beautiful, but I won't be able to eat them. The beans in the background here are coming along good. There's 2 or 3 at every pole, and the sunflowers are up already over into the 30-40 centimeter size, so they're going to look beautiful. And the cucumber that you can see on your right over there is already starting to set fruit. It's got little tiny cukes growing on it. So this bed's doing fantastic. And note, there's no weeds. I haven't had to pull any weeds out of here, so things are coming along really nicely. They're flowing. Drip irrigation every couple days to keep the big stuff going, and a watering can on the warm days to get the littler stuff just going. Mostly just the beets need it. Within another day or 2, I can start harvesting beet leaves, but I'll just let you see that. You might already know this, but beet leaves are amazing as a green in a salad. They taste fantastic. If you just pick a few, you're not going to harm the beets' growth down in the ground, and you get great salad mixes out of it as well. So day 20 is looking good. Let's keep looking around. The zucchini plant has flowers all over it. Some of them are huge, and there's some baby zucchini that are setting. And further down, you can see on the right-hand side, the herbs are taking off really well. The melon cantaloupe plant in the foreground on the right's coming along good. He was a little hard hit with the heavy sun, but now he's doing well. And I'll just take you down to the other end of the same bed so you can see what the greens are doing. It's looking really encouraging. Okay, so check out what's happening here. I've added another marigold in the foreground you can see down here. And look at the tatsoi. This green, which can be used as a cooking green or as a salad green, is already coming together beautifully. So nice little cute leaves. Behaves a lot like spinach in terms of if you're trying to figure out where this tatsoi fits in. And some of the guys that I'd transplanted are coming along well. Oh, and I'm spotting something. Right here are aphids. Aphids are tiny little fellers that come in as pests. They're usually farmed by ants who eat their excretions. And if aphids get going on cabbage family things, there can be a problem. So the best way to deal with that is simply to spray water on them, or you could, if you just have a few plants, you can just rub your hands on them and rub them off, but you got to get rid of them right away. Or you can just get some dish soap that's environmentally friendly, and with some environmentally friendly dish soap mixed with water, not straight dish soap, you spray it on them. It coats the aphids that it can't breathe properly, and then it suffocates, and you've eliminated the pests. So water or hand cleaning or a bit of diluted environmentally friendly soap will work well on that. The chard's coming along beautifully. You can actually, this is cool, check this out. The chard seed that we planted came up on this leaf. So you can actually see the seed that was connected on the leaf there. So the chard's coming in well, and there's broccoli and kale coming in down here that's looking good as well. So this bed is taking off, and by the time we get to our third update at day 30, we're going to be harvesting salads out of here. So a month from seed, we're going to be harvesting salads out of the chard and the tatsoi and the kale. Oh, it is looking good. Let's take a look at the next bed. So in our final bed, we had potatoes on this side. That was planted as a potato, remember? 20 days ago, because we're at our second update. So in 20 days, we've already got potatoes that are looking that significant. If you look down the row, all down here, some of them are coming up even bigger than that at that end. In the middle bed, pretty interesting to see what's happened. I put in some marigolds where onions didn't survive well. And I'm just going to move the camera for a second so you can see where the carrots are at. So if you look in there, you can see marigold, but what I want you to look at is on the left, because that little fella there, I'll just reach to it, is a carrot. So the carrots are starting to come up here, and obviously because seed depth is not exactly the same in all places, the rate at which the carrots come up and germinate varies a little bit as well. but they're coming up. They're coming along okay. Onions are hit and miss, but more of them are taking than didn't take, so I'm going to call that a win. Onions are a little fussy sometimes for me, and this is new soil that doesn't really have a predetermined heritage that I know about, so I think by next year they'll be way more friendly to onions. And then let's just move the camera just ever so gently. Just going to let you look down the lettuce row. Now this again is lettuce we started from seed, so it's coming along, and if you look in closely there, you can see that there's some nice lettuces coming all along that row. And keep in mind, every one of those guys is going to end up being something that's the size of a full head within a few more weeks. So by day 30, I think we're going to be picking some lettuce in here as well. There's obviously been quite a bit of, I think, wood fiber that was pulped into this soil when it was made. I just want to show you one other little thing here, if I can get it to zoom in on the camera. Oh, I think I might have missed it there. There. Take a look at that. A mushroom. So you gotta figure what's growing in with my lettuce here. There must be a lot of decomposing wood to create a mushroom that's growing in warm conditions in a new garden bed. So I think that's maybe indicative of why some things aren't growing as well as I would have liked it. That's just hilarious to me that there's mushrooms growing with the lettuce. Okay, so check it out. We've got quite a good range of potatoes on this side, onions and carrots in the middle, and the mixed greens and lettuces on the right. So by the time we're into the gardening as we are now, one of the things we're going to need to do is check on the filter for the pressure reducer. The filter that goes in here screws in and out by hand, and as you can see here, it's got a little bit of color on it, but it's not going to be impeding the flow of water very much. When it's nice and clear like that, you know the water is going to flow through well. It starts to get a little darker, you got to just run some water over it. You can see as soon as I take my finger, there's some gunk coming out, and that actually cleans up the filter right away. The best way to do is just run it under a tap, and it'll take out all that little collected particle matter, and the water's going to keep flowing. So probably every 15-20 days you're going to need to do that, okay? And just click it back in there once it's clean. So it's looking good, hey guys? Because we're at day 20, our second update. We've checked out all the beds. There's no weeds growing on the pathways. The cardboard and the bark chips have done an amazing job of keeping down the weeds. And if there are more weeds that show up, we'll just dump some chips on them. No deer have come in over the top. No rabbits have come in under the bottom. Slugs, which are a huge problem in the area where I live, they don't want to cross this, and because there's enough of a perimeter of the chips around the outside of each of the beds, it just feels like I guess a really frightening area for them to cross, like a no man's land that just could be too damaging for them to crawl across and all this. So the slugs haven't ventured into here. We've got one pest problem we found, which is the aphids on the cabbage family stuff. So we've told you what to do with that: spraying some water, rubbing off with your hand, or a bit of diluted soap. Other than that, we're looking at an abundant harvest, which is what this is all about, a backyard abundance. So stay tuned for the next update. We're going to see where we're at. Things are coming along.